What's needed for renting a cold spark machine? Well, if you're already on this page and you're already watching this video, you want to rent cold spark machines for a number of reasons. Tours, weddings, nightclubs, regardless. Well, unfortunately, I know a lot of stuff about our business, but I don't know every single law, and I'm not going to claim that I do, but I do know this. In general, this is how the law works. You have the federal law, the state law under that, of course, any county law, and then any city law, and then any specific rule or law of the venue or property you're on. So as long as you follow that tier structure, check into the different laws. Some of them may be enforceable, some may not. Some laws may trump other laws. Why is this important? Because federally is one thing. Statewide, it goes state to state. And so with the cold spark machines, these are regulated and claimed and noted by fire departments as a pyrotechnic device. So what's required with a pyrotechnic device? A permit, a license, a licensed operator, a company that has great insurance, let me tell you that, and also the ability to professionally operate these. Now, does that mean that you can't rent them yourself? Of course you can. But what ends up happening is when you rent them, the burden of all of this and understanding the law is up to you. And to make sure that you have these items set and you understand the law in that particular area. Now, I can comment on Nevada and California because those are our two most active areas and of course where our offices are, but we rent machines all over the country. Yes, we have the ability to do that. Now, the majority of states, or some states, I don't know all of them, but like for instance, California, if it's a private party, and again, let me preface this right now. I'm not a legal expert, and this is not legal advice. I only know what I know from working in this industry, what we've researched and what we've studied online. So make sure that you do your due diligence because I am not liable and we are not liable for any misinformation in this video. Just have to explain that as a disclaimer here. But I can bring the information to you like I'm about to do it right now. So, as I mentioned, in California, if it's a private party, not open to the public, you don't have ticket sales where people can buy into your event and it's in your own area, you can use these machines. You can rent them, you can buy them, you can use them, and you can operate them yourself. But if it's open to the public, if it's a public event, if it has ticket sales, if it's what the law states as a public event, which is different per different state, then you would need a pyrotechnic licensee to come in and operate that. You would need a professional company. And of course, you will have to run permits. So special effects agencies or special effects people that want to do this for movies and film and Instagram videos, and of course, maybe public weddings, things like that. What I would personally advise you is always do the most to get the most out of it, because the last thing that you would want is your wedding or your event getting shut down and getting a $10,000 to $20,000 or more fine and possibly jail time for operating one of these machines. Now that may seem drastic, and for the most states, they don't care. They'll just fine you and they'll go about your way. But case in point, you do the wrong thing and you could end up in one of the situations like California wildfires, okay? Which this wasn't a spark machine, prefacing that, but somebody at a wedding had sparklers, not spark machines, and they caught fire and it started an entire brush fire. That family was in jail. That family has a lot of money to pay. Don't want to scare you, but I just want to paint the picture of safety here and the right process. So the right process is actually making sure that the permits are filed, your safety measures are being followed inside, outside. People are 15 feet or more away from these machines. These machines are not blasting into a ceiling or any fabric or anything like that. And of course, you do your due diligence. You have a licensed operator run these, and you're willing to spend a little bit of money to make sure this is done right. When you cut corners, you may get away with it once or twice, but the third time is going to cost you more than 100 times of getting away with it. I can be the first to tell you that. Nobody else will, because they want to make sure they get the products out there and they get it handled. But that's not how we operate. We can advise you on what you need to do. Of course, we're not lawyers. We just know what we know from working with the fire departments and the law that's written online, that's public. But I want to make sure that you know what is needed. So what's needed to rent a spark machine? Well, we need to know what your event is, when the event is, what location it's at. We have to have a location. If we don't have these items and these requirements, then we just can't help you. But location, date, the address, what type of event is it, what your intentions are, and the floor plan. And of course, are you operating it or do you want a hired operator? That's going to depend and put us in a different route of what is needed. One of the routes, you're going to need permitting. You're going to need a licensed pyro operator to come in and operate that. Sometimes, depending on convention centers, you have the fire marshal. When they offer the permits, they could turn around and they could say, look, we're going to come in and we're going to inspect this and we're going to just check on things. Well, guess what? That may not be invoiced up front, but that's going to be invoiced later on because that's a fee to the company renting it. That's an unknown fee, and it will always be in the invoices that's a possibility. Of course, that fee gets passed on to the client. So what ends up happening here is you have your event, your machines go off without a hitch, and of course the event ends. Now, a couple of things, like I mentioned earlier in the video, whether you rent them from us or another company, these are videos and items in this video that you need to be aware of. Okay, my recommendation, every event should have a pyro operator. Every event should have insurance on both sides, the operator, which will have insurance, and of course you for handling this. The venue okays it, the permits are ran, and you understand what the permits are. And of course, everything is safe. The floor plan's handled in advance and everything else. And I say that with stress on it because with a lot of events and a lot of weddings, everything is so last minute. This is not something you want to push aside and have it be last minute. I can tell you that right now. So what you need to do, get us that information. Tell us event date, event times, the location. Do you want to operate the machines or do you want us to operate the machines? Are you having somebody come in and handle all this, or are you handling it yourself? Because we need to know who we're going to be working with during the event and before the event. Of course, then we can advise you on what is needed. Most likely a fire permit, most likely a permit from the fire department or the city, and of course, possibly a test beforehand. And we'll advise you on some other items there, whether a pyro company will come in and do that or whether it can be done without a pyro company. Again, this is very important. This is what's needed. I would definitely, if you're watching this and you want to save money, there's a lot of DJs out there and there's a lot of companies out there that will just offer this or they will come and do this. That's taking a huge risk, and the risk is definitely not worth the reward when you're said and done, because if a mishap happens, well, there's no reward at all. So I hope this helps. This is the process for renting a cold spark machine. I hope this was a little bit more informative than some of the other videos you watched. This is CryoFX. Thanks for watching.